Hello, I'm Zeke, and welcome to the Zekely Podcast. Let's talk Pennsylvania. My guest today lives in Central Bucks, Pennsylvania, and works as the Mental Health Deputy Administrator for the Bucks County Department of Health. She is a fierce social justice advocate and helped to save the Penn Ridge School District from the far-right extremist hate group, Moms for Liberty, when it took over the school board. Thank you so much for being here, Jane Cramer.
I'm Zeke, a doctor, a Pennsylvanian, and an unapologetic supporter of democratic values. You might have seen me on social media working my ass off for Democrats and meeting some pretty amazing people along the way, like President Barack Obama and Governor Josh Shapiro. For years, I've knocked thousands of doors all over Pennsylvania and poured my heart and soul into supporting candidates and causes that make a difference, from local school board races to national elections. The personal is political, and I take every election in Pennsylvania personally. Where the mainstream media has failed you, I will give you truth and independence. You'll hear from Democratic leaders, candidates, and changemakers who are working to improve the health of the Commonwealth, and it won't be boring as hell. No matter where you are, I'll meet you with hope and a plan to make your community better one day at a time. Welcome to the Zekely Podcast. Let's talk Pennsylvania.
Thank you so much for having me, Zeke. It's nice to get to see you again.
Oh my gosh, I feel like we were playing tag for a while when we wanted to meet each other because we found each other through social media when you were posting about the Penn Ridge issues you were having. And then we both went to the Moms for Liberty protests in Philadelphia, but we just never ran into each other.
Right. And I went because of your post on TikTok.
Well,
I kept seeing them and I'm like, I gotta go.
Oh.
I gotta go.
That was I really enjoyed that protest. I really felt like the community there was good and the messaging was great. We were showing people why it was so bad that Moms for Liberty was in town, and Trump showed up at the time. It did get a lot of media attention. So I'm glad we did finally connect during the door knocking period in 2024. And now we're here on my podcast. Nuts. Nuts. Well, I'm really happy you're here. We're going to have a great time. So let's get into it. How long after the Republican school board members took office did you know things weren't going
Well, in Penn Ridge, it had been a slow buildup that had been going on since prior to the pandemic.
Okay.
Prior to the pandemic, there was a school shooting. I forget where. How sad is that you can't keep track anymore? And it was the one in Florida. And then there were protests. A lot of students throughout the country walked out of schools.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And in Penn Ridge, our school board was already very conservative, aligned with like Tea Party. And they gave the kids Saturday detentions for the walkout and said to them, if you do this, you're getting Saturday detentions. No other school district did that. It was just such a difficult time for students and so scary. And, I was happy to see students stand up for themselves and their lives, not just their right to live. So, there were some protests and the community started to become aware, like, oh, our school board's pretty out there. And then COVID happened and we had a lot of people in our community that were, I guess, radicalized around the masks and the restrictions during COVID. One of the Republicans that ran for school board, he was harassing people at the local library because he didn't want his kids to have to wear masks. So we had that group that then once COVID started to settle down, I guess, a little bit, and everything transitioned into, on the national level, you had Charlie Kirk and some of those other radical right-wing folks pushing that CRT was the damnation of America.
Teaching preschoolers college level course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We all know the playbook now because it's been a few years, but then it was shocking, really.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like it was like slow burn, like the ground level was being built during the pandemic, and then coming out of the pandemic, they were emboldened to throw their hats in the ring for a position on the school board, and then the rest we know about, and we're going to talk about. We'll talk more about that soon. But in the meantime, what the buck? Yeah, I came up with these myself. Okay.
Really?
Myself. It's a game where we talk about things that make you say, what the buck in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Okay, we'll see if we can get these right. All right. So Gravity Hill in Buckingham, Pennsylvania is a famous location known for what?
Your car will go uphill without accelerating.
Yeah, the surrounding landscape creates this optical illusion, I guess, that makes a slight downhill slope appear to be uphill. So, what the buck? That's crazy. What the buck? All right, what animal, this game is a lot of fun. What animal has limits of how many you can own depending on what municipality you live in?
Cows?
Chickens.
Chickens, really?
Chickens, yeah.
I didn't think there'd be any limit to chickens in Bucks County.
Yeah.
What the buck?
What the buck? In Newtown Borough.
Oh, well, there you go.
You can't have more than 12 hens on your property. And in Doylestown Township, you can have only up to 10 chickens per acre. And in Langhorne Borough, you can't have more than 6 hens on your property and no roosters permitted.
Huh.
I know. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I know. What the buck?
What the buck?
What the buck? There you go. Numerous sightings of what have been seen over the years, fueling conspiracy theories in Bucks County.
Is this
You can tap out if you want.
Is it a mystical creature or a human?
I mean, it's a mystical, maybe ethereal would be a better description for it. UFOs.
Oh,
yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, I guess in 2008, the MUFON, it stands for the Mutual UFO Network, which is not a very credible group of people, by the way. They investigated UFO sightings. There was a 700% increase in 2008 of sightings in Bucks County. They interviewed, I think, 60 people, and they tried to verify the evidence. So there have been a lot of UFO sightings in Bucks County. What the buck?
What the buck?
What the buck? Well, thank you for playing What the Buck with me. First time ever played, probably in the world.
But not the last.
Not the last, I don't think. All right, now we have finally arrived to Cringey the Ram.
Cringy?
Okay, so you named your persona on social media Cringey the Ram, and I know the Ram is the Penridge mascot. And when I saw you on social media, you just had the Ram picture, and then you just saw your eyes and mouth talking.
Right.
What made you come up with the name and the voice? Cringey. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, so at a school board meeting, when they took away the DEI committee, this is hysterical. So one of the board members came up with a poster with the picture that is now Cringey.
Okay.
You know, that actual
picture.
An actual picture.
Oh, man.
So there was this poster, and it was basically this whitewashed, like, instead of DEI, we just have these posters up here that say, everybody's special and nice, and we love everybody.
Yeah.
But to reveal this new poster that they were going to put in the schools, they actually had the mascot come into the auditorium and start dancing around with the poster. Well, we're all really angry and, upset because they just canceled our DEI committee. And
how tone deaf can you be? How tone deaf can you be? That's wow.
Yeah. So it was a very cringy moment. And
that's amazing. Well, it kind of writes itself, right? The comedy writes itself.
It does. And then, my younger daughter was still in school when I started Cringey, and I didn't, I started out with the face to hide my identity a little bit because I wasn't so sure I wanted to be out there as much as I am now. But at the time, I was still like, I don't want to embarrass Ani.
That was very nice of you. You have to give me a little bit of the voice, please.
Hey, kids. Cringey the Ram here.
Every time it came on, I was like, there she is. And then there was a lot of mystique to us. Like, who is this Cringey the Ram? I'll never forget when Jess finally found out who you were. She's like, that's Cringey. That's Cringey the Ram. And it was really awesome. And then when I found out you were going to be at the Moms for Liberty protest, like, Cringey the Ram is going to be there. So yeah, that was great. Well, I thought that's wonderful that you did that, and it's a great backstory. So you think you'll ever bring Cringey back? Or is that like, you hope you never have to bring Cringey back?
Cringey is ready. So, people in Penn Ridge better behave themselves or Cringey's going to come back out.
Cringey is coming back. I think, oh my God, I think one of the best cringy moments wasn't even related to the politics. It was when that goat escaped in Bucks County. And you post all these videos kind of like eyeballing the goat, like, where is that goat? The goat got out. Where is that? Those are just, that was gold. You did such a great job with that character. You really did make it seem real and important, but also make it not difficult to digest, which really is what people need, right?
Yeah. Thank you. That was my intention. Yeah. And I started doing TikTok because of the Ridge Network. My one, we were chatting about, well, how do we, what are strategies that we can do to inform the community? Mm-hmm. And Central Bucks had some success utilizing TikTok to reach people in the community, but also to get media attention. Yeah. So my goals were to reach people in the local community and to get some media attention, which I did both, which was really nice. Mm. But there were people that really helped me, and you were one of them. When I first started doing Cringey, your support and commenting on videos and liking them as I was trying to figure out how the app worked. But, I think to have people like you just jump in and be supportive and cheering on our cause. Now, it's very meaningful. So thank you.
You did fantastic work. You are quite welcome. And thank you. Well, in honor of Cringey the Ram, we're going to play a cringy game, of course.
I love cringy games.
And you're going to tell me whether or not these things make you cringe or not. Okay?
Okay.
Awkward social interactions.
Very cringy.
Very cringy, like someone kind of oversharing personal information, or saying something
TMIs, no.
Okay, that makes me cringe too. What about secondhand embarrassment? What?
Not cringy.
You don't think that's cringy? Oh my gosh, I get so if I see someone failing publicly, like messing up a speech or it makes me, I don't know, it makes my skin crawl. Like, oh my God, I can't believe doing that. That not for you. Doesn't make you cringe.
Oh yeah, maybe it depends who it is.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's funny, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you're just like, oh my God, that's so awkward. All right.
Yeah.
50-50. What about over-the-top self-promotion?
Very cringy.
Very cringy, like braggadocious people. Very cringy. What about public displays of affection? I like it. I'm just putting it out there. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful no matter what form it is. I think love is a beautiful thing, and I don't think people should be embarrassed by it. There's definitely certain areas you shouldn't do it, but out in public,
boundaries.
There's boundaries for sure, but I think that in general, PDA is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that.
What about forcing a trend?
Very cringy.
Very cringy. Yeah, I do that with my kids a lot with my Gen Z lingo, like skibbity toilet and, no cap, all flames. They just say, Dad, what are you doing? Stop.
I picked up bussin'.
Oh, bussin'.
Yeah.
Totally bussin'.
So my teenagers thought they would very much cringe when I'd be like, oh, this dinner's bussin'.
Totally bussin'. Yeah. Now the newest Gen Z word is giat. Have you heard of the word giat?
I have heard of giat.
Yeah, like a really nice butt. I know. I love it. I think it's hilarious. So I try to use it whenever I can, but my kids always give me the side eye. So, yeah. Guess it depends what kind of trend you're doing. All right. In 2023, the Democrats swept the 5 open school board seats at Penn Ridge, wrestling back the 8-1 Republican majority. What did it feel like when you took back Democratic control of the school board? Largely due to your advocacy, by the way, I'm sure. How did that feel?
It was just, it was amazing. It was amazing, to pour yourself into an effort with, a group of others, to be part of a movement, a grassroots movement, where we were put to the last possible second, we were pushing. Yeah. And working hours and hours a week and, to get to that finish line and to have flipped all 5 seats.
Yeah.
No one thought we were going to do it. People thought Central Bucks was going to flip, but no one thought Penn Ridge was. I was confident's the wrong word, but I was really hopeful going into it. Like some of my friends, that were also part of it, they didn't think we were going to do it. I'm like, no, we got this. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Just that positive thinking and for it to come out, it was like hitting a home run, hitting a grand slam.
I mean, I'll never forget. I remember Jess and I, when we found out about it, were cheering from afar.
Yeah.
Not that we're that far away or anything, but I mean, we were so happy for you and the community because we know what that's like to just see that type of activity happening in your community. And then you fought really, really hard and put so much time and energy into it, and you won. Your community won.
Absolutely. I mean, politics can very much turn into like a sport. And we saw that a lot, I think, with the presidential election, that it felt like it was a sporting match, not our governance.
Right.
And with this election, I it felt really good at the end. Like,
oh, yeah.
You want a sport, but it didn't feel like people were playing politics. It felt like people said, enough is enough. We don't want this. We don't want this right-wing conservative model in our school.
In your town.
We want a normal school district like everyone else has.
Just so amazing. I'm so happy for you. Let's talk about strength. Okay. What's a strength that you have that it's actually more powerful than physical strength? I think it's an important thing to talk about because I think the way things are going right now in this country and around the world, there's this obsession with being strong, you know, in a way that is very physical. But I believe that there are many, many ways to be strong and that there are people who are stronger than the physical strength. So I wanted to ask you, what do you perceive as a strength of yours that is more powerful than lifting some weights or, the physique?
I think two pop in my head. One is humor.
Oh.
I think being able to use humor to diffuse and to educate.
I like that one, Jane. I actually would not have ever thought of that, but it's very true that there is strength in humor. Yeah. That's a good one. I didn't think of that. What else you got?
Because you can change or control the conversation.
Yeah, no, you're right. I like
the tone.
That. I love it.
And I think the ability to stay calm and not be reactive.
Having self-control in a difficult time. Yeah, I agree. I believe that those are equivalent, if not more important than physical strength in many, many more situations.
Right.
Well, Jane, why are you a Democrat? And why do you choose to represent the Democratic Party?
I think I'm a Democrat because the party's platform is aligned with how I think government should work. I think that government can make communities better. Good government really can have a positive impact. And and I think that when you live in a society, you need to, everyone counts and everyone deserves to have their basic needs met. That's how I see the world. So, for what's available right now, because we only basically have two parties.
That's right.
The Democrats are much more aligned with how I think the world should work.
I agree. I mean, I've read the Democratic platform, I think it's 91 pages or something. It's hard to read something like that and not agree that it is the party that has the values that most people agree with. It just does. I mean, I've read the Republican platform and the Democratic platform, and I just feel like when people sign up to represent a party, it's not a difficult choice. So I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, am I happy with everything every Democrat has ever done? Of course not. And are there... obviously we lost the presidential election. So, we got it. Something needs to give, and it's not just our fault. The manipulation and
right. The social media and the apathy and the misinformation. But no matter how much you don't like a Democrat, you're going to get more of what you want in life with the Democrats than you ever will with the Republicans. That's just the truth. So
Absolutely.
if you're going to put your time and energy into getting someone elected, even if you don't get what you want every single time, over a lifetime, hopefully, you will get what you want through the Democratic Party.
Right.
And I think that's just the truth.
Right. And you'll get a better society.
Yeah, for everyone.
Right.
For everyone. It has the widest tent and 100%. What would you tell people who might be fighting a fight similar to what you've gone through at Penn Ridge right now? Because I'm sure somewhere in the country, people are facing issues that you faced. And they're probably tired and they're probably angry and upset. What would you tell them?
I think find your people, find other, find that network of other people that want to fight with you or work with you to push that issue forward and create those networks of people. Some of my dearest friends now are people that I connected with through this struggle.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I want people to do now. For people who have despair or are angry about what happened in the election in 2024, there are organizations, there are people, there are local Democratic committees that you can find online. And
absolutely.
Connect with them. And you can do something every day, every week, every month to help get more Democrats elected so we can try and turn this around. So
absolutely.
I'm glad that you said it was looking for the helpers, looking for people in your community. All right, I have 2 more questions for you. Okay. What gives you hope?
I think it's the history of our country gives me hope because we have been in bad spots before and have persevered, and we've done it through people power. And I think the youth of today, while understandably very, a lot of youth are maybe apathetic or don't see what's the point. No one's going to take them seriously or do anything anyway. I do think they're a very fierce generation, and there's going to come a point where enough is enough, kind of like we had in Penn Ridge, that, you get to a point where it's like enough.
Enough is enough.
Like I think my daughters will march on Washington if they take away TikTok.
Oh my gosh.
But you know what I'm saying.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see when this episode airs. I guess we'll find out. What plans do you have to get yourself through these next few years?
I think it's just continuing to keep my connections of people in the community that are supportive, with this grassroots movement that we built in Penn Ridge. It was so interesting that the thing people would say more often than not is like, there are other people like me in this community. It could be,
yeah.
If you feel like, oh, this is a conservative community and I should just keep my mouth shut. But then you look around and you're like, oh, wait a minute. There's a lot of people that think the same way I do. It was very empowering for people and for me. And, I'm grateful for those connections. So my hope is that those connections will continue to, get me through and inspire me when we need to go march on Washington to get TikTok back or whatever the issue is. That I'll know when the time is right to act.
Well, I am so happy to have met you. I'm happy that you're in my life, and I'm just so grateful for what you did in Bucks County. And I'm just I'm so grateful to know you as a person. You inspire me.
I gotta keep doing what you're doing because it makes such a huge impact.
Yeah.
And I'm also very grateful that we made that connection and have stayed connected and are on the same team, because I wouldn't want to mess with you.
No, come on. I definitely don't want to lead with an iron fist. I want people to respect me and know that I'm trying to do the right thing. And I know you are doing the right thing. And I really enjoyed Cringey the Ram, but I know if Cringey ever has to come out again, some type of social justice needs to be fought. And I'll be there to help elevate you and make sure that the right people know what's going on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, Jane, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure. And just thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for having me.
Thanks for joining me here on the Zekely Podcast. Stay hopeful and get involved. And until next time, let's keep building a stronger Pennsylvania together.